Welcome to the Freedom Property Podcast, the modern real estate brand empowering excellence. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. It's the Freedom Property Podcast show. Eamon, welcome back.
Hello.
How we doing?
Yeah, pretty good, man.
That's the way.
Just focusing on some staff training at the moment, so to close the year out.
Staff training's always fun.
Yeah, leveling everyone up, getting ready for the new year. So
Nice, mate. Nice. How's it all going in the freedom media world?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. Just, trying to because we have a little bit more time, we can focus on just making the media even more high quality and making that extra content for the agents even better as well. So
Definitely.
getting ready for the new year.
Yeah, I love going onto our Freedom Property YouTube page and, it's the sort of thing I do at nighttime,
Movie
chilling
night
out.
with Josh. Just watching
Absolutely. And see like the videos that you shot for the day. Is always like 5 or 6 new videos on there every day.
Yeah.
And it's great to see the properties, but it's also good to see the evolution of the agents as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because even some of these podcast shows that we did at the start of the year, if you rewind and have a look at some of them, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we're obviously going back through some of these ones at the moment and pulling out a bit of content for them, so we can mash it together and show off what we've done this year in the studio and some of the positive things that we've got going on for Freedom with coming from the voice of our agents as well. So there'll be good videos once we get them together. But it's funny going back through them, eh? It's I love all this stuff, It's just for the memory bank.
Yeah, the journey. See how you go. Because then you're because you can compare yourself even to a year ago and you're like, oh, right, that's where I was a year ago. And then it reminds you that you're like, I am actually doing good. I'm making progress,
Absolutely.
Celebrate them small wins,
Yeah, and I watched the training we did last Thursday because we had the auction on the Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
So that was funny because you sent that through and we watched that last night. And so in the training, this was before the auctions. Like we called out, we played out the play.
In the training. Yeah.
And it played out exactly at the auction.
Oh, really? Right. Cool.
Same price and everything.
Yeah, nice.
Like it was hilarious.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That shows you that it's like, if you're actually preparing and you're like, well, if this happens, then I'll do this. And,
Yeah, maybe I can just see into the future though.
Oh, maybe.
It was funny. I was just like, I told you that's how it'd play out. So, it was a good one. But, it's just like, doing what we're doing right now and just having this stuff available for our agents to watch back or, if they're struggling on a objection, we've got the objection show in there. If they're wondering how to handle their buyer manager, we've got that there. So we've covered a lot this year, but obviously we're still not quite finished, are we?
Yeah, well, that's it. And that's, I suppose, what we're talking about today is December, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I want to know, how are you kind of finishing out your year? Because that'd be a good kind of point of reference for a lot of people, I reckon.
Yeah, nice. It's a good time of year to have those last conversations with the sellers for next year as well. Like right now, I'm ringing a lot of people and just checking in with them and just saying, oh, hey, Eamon, how you doing, mate? How's your year been? Are you still planning on selling next year?
Maybe. Depends on what the market's doing.
Absolutely. And how has this change of market affected your plans?
Well, yeah, it's interesting to see what's been selling around me, Like I'm obviously still keen to sell, but I'm a little bit nervous,
Absolutely. And what I'm finding at the moment is that probably our smarter sellers will probably sell earlier next year. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I suppose so. I'm a smart seller. So
Okay, cool. And would you like me to give you a call in January? Is that when you'd like to maybe think about maybe me popping over and having a chat to you about the sale?
That probably sounds good. I would have been settled into the year by then. So
Awesome. I'll call you first week of January, mate.
Nice.
And we'll book in a time and have a chat. And what's the plans for Christmas?
Yeah, we're going to Morton Island for a weekend.
Lovely.
So
that's going to be awesome.
Gang, so.
You have a fantastic time, mate.
Yeah, nice.
And be expecting my phone call in January.
I can't wait to hear from you.
That's it. But, hopefully my calls play out like that. That would be lovely.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be like, well, I'm probably not going to sell till later in the year. Okay, no worries. And your plan is still to buy another property? If that's the case, fantastic. There's definitely going to be some good deals out there. You just need to be ready to take these things, So could you buy without having yours sold?
Probably not.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, so you probably would want to sell as quickly as possible then if you want to maximize your return.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, okay. So when do you think you want to do that?
This is so good because you just kind of like, you just ask the question and wait, like, and it's like, but you've like given a piece of information to pre-frame it, but then you're also waiting. Yeah. So I'm answering the question based on the information you've just given me, which is like, it'd be good if I did it then, like, you know, but it's like, you're not lying to me either. Like, it's like smart info, you know?
Well, it makes sense, but it's easier, this stuff, when you're bringing people and you're trying to sell to them all the time, when you're trying to like convince people. Like a lot of agents at the moment contacting me being like, well, how do I like get them onto the market quicker and all this sort of stuff. It's like, you can't just convince someone to come onto the market quicker.
Yeah, if they don't want to. Like
it doesn't work like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be their plan, their idea. It's got to happen when it's right for them, you know, but asking questions about where they're at and why they're thinking the way they're thinking is going to fast track that. So you just got to ask better questions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can close off your year this year and figure out when people are selling next year by having some really smart, good conversations this time of year. It's a good time to check in with your future sellers.
Yeah, and also notice that it's like, you're not just calling them for no reason. Like, you're saying, how's your year? Like, it's like a good like reason to call someone to be like, you know, how's your year going? Because it's like people are in this like reflection time about how this year was or whatever.
Absolutely.
It's not just like, hey, are you selling? Like, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of people are like, they're sitting on the fence right now because they're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should wait until after Christmas or sell now as well. So what I'm suggesting to a lot of people is that if they're not quite ready to go on the market right now, but they definitely want to sell in January, for instance, like, you got to, as a seller, put yourself in you know, the shoes of all the other sellers, you know, which you are in. You're probably thinking exactly the same thing, you know. So what a lot of people would think is like, oh, I'll get through Christmas and it'll give me a bit of time to do some things around my house, and, you know, and then I'll hopefully be ready to go onto the market maybe second or third week of January. But like, how many people are going to be thinking that? You know what I mean? So if you're a smart seller, again, you can beat the rush, you know. So what I'm suggesting to my sellers is like, let's get you ready over Christmas. Okay, so we don't have to launch directly then, but it will be an amazing time to launch your property, I think, in that window between Christmas and New Year. Because, like, imagine being a buyer right now and it's late November, which it is, and you're like, oh my God, like, we still haven't bought a house. Like, there's probably not going to be that many coming on in December, you wouldn't think. And if we're lucky, we might find one in January, which if we do a 30 or 60-day settlement means we're not moving until late February, maybe March, as if they're lucky.
Yeah.
Like, they might have kids starting school in February or January, whenever they start.
So much more going on.
Like people are wanting to pull the trigger, and sellers are not necessarily wanting to sell. So the ones that do put their property on the market in December are going to kill it, I reckon.
So you're saying put it on the market now, not like just get it ready?
Well, you know, either put it on if you're ready to rock, because I still think there's going to be opportunity there for you, or if you're not quite ready, get everything ready. So contact us. Let us get all the media ready. So we get all that done. And then say on the 29th of December, we launch the property and we go live and we make your first open home that first week of January. Like, you're so far ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd be talking to my sellers about right now. And obviously, as an agent, if you are the one or the team that has launched the most properties between, you know, that back end of December, who's everyone going to be thinking about when they're ready to pick their agent in January?
You all have the hottest properties on realestate.com. So
yeah. Seriously.
And that also keeps us busy. So agents, please listen to this point because we want to be busy in December as well. So
absolutely. We don't want to slow down. So yeah. And I see a lot of people, a lot of agents, they have this roller coaster with their income. And that's because they take the foot off the pedal. You know, so if you're just consistent with the amount of listings you get, then you're obviously going to be consistent with your income. You know, so don't just be like, all right, I won't list anything in December and January. That's going to affect you massively, you know? So yeah, get to work, you know, make it happen.
Yeah, nice. And so that's kind of the list now. Launch later.
Yeah, like right now though, it's very, very crucial that we get our prices right as well.
Yeah,
because creeping into this window that we're about to come into, it is going to be a little bit harder to sell some properties, especially if they've been on the market for a long time.
Yeah.
So what I'm urging my sellers to do right now is to be the next one to sell. So, just price your property correctly. And right now.
What does that look like?
Well, you gotta put yourself in the buyer's shoes. You gotta assess, would I buy my house next week or would I buy that house over there? And if you buy that house over there, then your price is wrong.
And so when you say price, are you saying like you have a price on realestate.com or you
definitely.
What's the strat immediately? Do you just put it up with no price for a while and then see?
Absolutely, yeah. Which is what we always do. We always give it a week or so and assess the interest and see where it's at. But if you've been sitting on the market now, let's just say you launched in October and it's you've been on the market 4 or 5 weeks. Like this is a very pivotal moment for you. You need to price your property right now aggressively. You need to be the next to sell. I would dramatically drop it and I would put offers over if it was me and I would get it done. Because, when January rolls around and there's a whole heap of properties coming on, yours is forgotten.
Yeah.
Because you ain't the hottest new thing on the market anymore, You know how it is.
So what you think, like, I mean, we're talking predictions here and no one really can predict, but like it's going to continue to drop next year or?
Oh, look, each market is different. There's agents all around maybe Australia watching this and your market is different to the next market. Yeah, so man. I think it more comes down to where you are and where you're selling. Like where we are right now, this is a very popular location. It's still very affordable and it's good value. So I think that, we are going to be a little bit steadier than maybe some marketplaces.
Yeah.
So, I think if people are looking for an absolute steal, like in our area, it's probably not going to happen. There's going to be more opportunity and you don't have to maybe buy them on the first day or week anymore, but you still have to pay a fair price to get a property in this area.
Yeah.
So
just on that pricing thing, like, does it make more sense to just like when you get the feedback, put it on like once at a really good price? Because like obviously as a buyer, if you're keeping an eye on all the properties, you know what you want to buy. If you see one property and it drops 3 times, that's obviously not really a good look.
Oh, look, it's funny in real estate. When you get the price right, the buyers just start flocking in,
right.
And you'll know if you're happy with your marketing, if your marketing is good. Like if you, every time you go on realestate.com, you see your property. If you go on your social media and you can see it. If you've got good signage, if you've got, good media. These are all the things, like if you're happy with that side of the listing, it's got to be the price. Or your agent.
Yeah.
But you picked your agent, so surely they can't be that bad, So, it's got to be your price, So, and in a market that, you have to offer value. You got to offer value if you want to sell. But you got to stay focused on why you're selling as well. Like if you're wanting to buy another home, like
you've got to sell.
It's win-win. It's like, you might get a little bit less for yours, but if you're buying up, then that's dropping harder than what yours is, So, and it's a better time to be buying that property as well because you got more time to think about it, and you can, get a better deal. You don't have to rush in.
So, what are some other ways to like stay top of mind with all of your potential sellers? Around this period.
Obviously, there's a lot of people that you can thank right now. Obviously, you could take people to dinner. Especially like people that call the shots maybe in your area, people like brokers, people like stylists, people like, your media guys, like people that, you've had a good relationship with this year, agents, I'm talking to you again. These people can help you with your business next year, so support them, look after them and see who they know. Build those connections, build those relationships. Is a good time to celebrate, with these types of people.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's interesting, building relationships, not just with sellers, like with other people that can obviously help you as well. Because if you're building a relationship with a stylist or whatever, and then they have 2 people call them at once that wants one booking, but Joshy took me out to dinner that one time for Christmas. He's a good guy, and it's like, probably prioritize him,
Absolutely.
like subconsciously,
we did a boat day a little while ago, and we we invited we usually take all the sales agents, and it's always about the sales agents. So we love you sales agents, but but it's not always about the sales agents. Yeah. It was about the admin. It was about the people that have helped our business. This year it was just like different people that we wanted to bring on this boat. And yeah, we're seeing the rewards from that. People that have helped me, and people that we appreciated this year, and we'll do it again next year. And, like this time of year, you could, drop some bottles of wine off to some past sellers. You could do, you could really thank them. You could do whatever you can for these people that are affecting your business. Like real estate is all about relationships. So if you've got good relationships with people in the marketplace, people that whenever they hear anybody say or anything about real estate, they're like, call this guy, like call them, because they feel invested in your life and your business because you've made them that, Yeah. So yeah,
there you go, agents. I'm ready for all my bottles of wine. Okay.
Yeah. So load him up. I'll drink them with him.
And so anything to do with because obviously Christmas is coming up, like holiday period, like do you do anything special like around this time for sellers or?
Yeah, like those types of things, like obviously you could do some cards, you could do some, gifts, like I say, bottles of wines, small little things. I'll definitely be dropping a Merry Christmas like DL around my whole neighborhood and letting them all know thank you for supporting us this year and have a Merry Christmas, that type of stuff, So yeah, just get the basics right this time of year, So yeah, finish your year off, and when you come in January, you're coming in very clean. You know who the sellers are that are coming on. You're not like behind. You're not like, oh my God, I need to find a seller. You should have already known who the sellers are.
Yeah.
You should know who you're about to call in January to go over and have the listing press with. Maybe even book the listing press in advance, So yeah, just have all this stuff ready to rock.
Yeah, nice. And yeah, if you're looking to like get a bunch of media ready as well, just give me a buzz. I'm happy to help you with that. But something that I think would be like amazing if you are doing some media is telling some customer stories.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, again, like, thank you everyone who sold with me this year or who bought from me this year. Just a couple of customer stories. Like we had Bob back in February and just like, he went through a messy divorce or whatever, and this is what we did to help him through his house, whatever. Maybe I'll show a couple of photos on the videos or show some of the property videos, People just love stories, and if it's a feel-good one where it's like, this person was in a bad situation, this is how we helped them, like just like piece to camera, really simple stuff. Like there's so many ideas right now that you can be putting out there that people will be like, oh yeah, that's right, that person did that, like that's awesome,
Definitely. Well, let's touch on that then briefly. So obviously that's the business plan. That's going to be part of your business plan, because this time of year as well, I'm going to be having one-on-one meetings with all of my crew, and obviously with my individual team as well. We're going to set a business plan in play. You got a bit of time, so take a day and set all of your stuff ready for next year. The first thing that I'd be starting with is your goals. You need to set some clear goals, not just for you personally, but for your team, for your structure, for your home life, for everything. So
yeah, nice. And so, like, what else would you be doing in terms of, setting goals and getting ready for the new year, like on the back end?
So, obviously, when you're setting these goals, you need to sort of like change your belief about some things as well, because, like at the start of this year, I sat with the team again. Well, the end of last year, sorry. So I sat with the team again, and I said, what's your goal? This year, like, tell me what you want to earn. Tell me how many listings you want to make and get, and what do you think your year looks like? And there was some people in there that were, they weren't very ambitious with their goals. They just were like, oh, if I can just do what I did last year, or if I could just continue to stay in the industry, or like the goals just weren't big enough.
Yeah.
They just didn't believe in themselves.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I actually, there was a couple of people here, and they said, oh, I'm going to do this. And I was just like, nah. I was just like, that's no way big enough for you, because they didn't see what I see in them. I was just like, double that. Like you could double that easy, and they're just like, what? But I think, you need to just set some big goals and set some, big beliefs about what you can achieve, in this business.
Yeah.
Even if the market is pulling back, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, nice.
Like you can still make this happen. People need to sell.
We're bordering on like self-development here, but like it's true because it's like you need to have this belief in yourself when you're in business, and it's so easy to just be comfortable and like, just be like, oh, this is what I'm, okay with or whatever. But it's like literally every reason that you don't achieve something is because you have set a belief that that's your cap,
Oh yeah. It's crazy as well. Like when I think about my years, like in terms of what we've done, and I think like, holy shit, like, am I going to be that again? Like, how am I going to do that? Like, how did I even do that? Yeah. That's what I think when I'm sitting there. I'm just like, oh my God. But then you go out there and you beat it. You get out there and you do it again.
Yeah.
And in real estate, I think if you're a good person and you are setting, like your foundations right with your marketplace and with these people doing these things that we just spoke about before, naturally your business will grow if you want it to. Like naturally, because these people still live in that house. They just bought a house off you and they're meeting friends and telling them about you. Like your marketing is going around. It's your name that's going around over and over and over and over and over again in your marketplace. It's just like, surely, like in a matter of time, like it's, if you're a good person anyway,
Yeah, and as you say, like if you're doing everything right,
Yeah, but you also, like you also got to create probably at this time of year in your business plan a not to do list.
Yeah. So what does that look like?
No, what are you not going to do?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that, So, and you know what I'm talking about, agents. Everyone's got their shit, So stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
What are you talking about, in business or in personal life?
Oh, whatever. Both.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be here in the office, then smash it.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, put it back down. Pick up the phone, put it back down again. Don't just strut around and, just think you're here, just because you're here, you've made it.
Yeah.
It's not how it is. Like what are you going to do? What are you doing in your personal life that's stopping you from taking your business to the next level?
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to keep yourself accountable, like, because it's like exactly what you're doing wrong, kind of thing. So.
Oh, seriously, but don't worry, we're all human. There's a lot that I want to not do. There's a lot of things that I want to change about myself, So, and I'm just going to try and keep working on that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no one's perfect.
Oh, definitely.
But if you can recognize what all the habits that you're not doing right, it's just like one by one, just like,
Absolutely. And
so what does your marketing plan look like for next year?
So again, we'll sit down and we'll discuss that, but our marketing plan doesn't change too much because, we're very consistent with what we do. I know that you and I are going to catch up and we're going to produce a certain amount of content. I know that I'm going to give all that content to my digital marketer, and I know how much money I'm going to spend with him every single month. It doesn't change too much on that side of things. I know the sponsorships that I'm going to be doing. I know, what I'm going to do with every listing. So right now I'm looking at my brochures, I'm looking at my signage, I'm looking at everything to be like, how can I improve this just a little bit? Every single person I meet, what are they going to get from me via email? What are they going to get from me when I meet them in person? Like what does every little part of my business look like? Minimum standards on every single listing, every single sale, every single under contract, minimum standards.
Nice. And you have those written down where you're visually looking at it all the time?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just a set procedure.
Nice.
Yeah. So if the seller isn't prepared to do it, I'll do it. If they don't believe in something,
doing all the gardening, or
well, I'll get a gardener there. But if something needs to be done around your listing, this is your profile. These listings are your business. This is your mark on real estate. You know what I mean? And you can pick these agents out there. There's certain agents that deal in a specific type of property. They deal in a specific type of marketplace, and they usually do everything exactly the same. There's a good agent at I won't mention any names, but at the coast right now, who I've looked at a lot of their properties, and I know what I'm going to get with these guys. I know that every single listing they get is an auction, every single one. If there's not an auction, they're not listing it. So they know that I know what their marketing looks like. I know when I inquire exactly what I'm going to get. Everything is exactly the same. I go to the open home. I know I get the same brochure. I get the same follow-up. Everything is consistent. There's definitely still a few things that they could add to their business, which I'd be happy to talk to them about when the time is right. But
But this is awesome what you're talking about here, because what you're doing is you're looking at an agent that you think is successful. Yeah, it's in a slightly different marketplace.
Yeah.
And you're reverse engineering their business and you're saying, what are they doing right that I could be doing right, you know? Which is, I think, you know, I do that all the time with like all the other media people in Brisbane, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's a really good thing to do, to just be like, you know, I mean, there's a point where it's like potentially unhealthy, you know, and you got to keep an eye on yourself for that part. But
sound like my missus. Yeah. It's funny. We had a Saturday off. We don't usually have Saturdays off.
Oh, yeah.
And had a Saturday off. Do you know what we did?
What?
Went to the Gold Coast and went to some open homes.
Oh, right. So it wasn't a Saturday off.
We only looked at like 5, you know. We are interested in buying.
Oh, okay, but, right. You're not just going
it's but Tan's like, well, you're crazy, you know, like you get a day off from open homes and you go to open homes. And I'm just like, I had the best day ever. I loved it.
Did you like go on the beach at all? Or
yeah, went to the beach too.
Okay.
Obviously, priorities.
So did the agents like recognize you? Did they know who you were? Or did they
I've met a couple of them before,
Okay, yeah.
And obviously, they knew who we were.
So like, what are you doing creeping around my open homes? Or
you're
like, no, I'm a buyer, I swear.
Oh, seriously, I'm good to go. Let's go. Let's make it happen. But it was nice to go to the open homes because you can get a bit of a feel on what they're doing, who's there, you know, like what's the follow-up like afterwards, what do you receive as a buyer, you know. So this is what we're doing all the time at Freedom. We are analyzing everything. And then we're like, all right, sweet, what do we need? Talk to the property platform. This is what we need. They add these things into their business plan for us and we implement it. And this is why our business is so structured, because we just implement. We just see what anyone else is doing. I've got all these brochures from the weekend and there's one brochure in there that's better than ours. I've already spoken to the design team and I'm like, this brochure,
make it better.
Seriously. I'm like, what are we doing it? I want this brochure. I want something as good as this.
Nice.
You know, so everything, just you have to, you know, improve your business everywhere you can, and those minimum standards, and not just for your listings, but for you individually, and for like the things you're going to do every day, like how many phone calls are you going to make, how many letters are going to go out, how many doors are certain people in your team going to knock on, or are you going to knock on, you know, like what's your plan around, you know, expired listings, you know, like all these sorts of things.
Yeah, nice.
So you got to map all that out.
And yeah, like, you know, because I went to a bunch of open homes last year when I was looking to buy, and it's crazy that it's like, you know, there was so many experiences that I had that was absolutely shocking, you know? Like, I'm like, yes, this is my, like, you know, they took my details and I'm like, yeah, I want to make a good offer on this property. Like, I made it clear to them that I'm like, I want to purchase this property, and you just don't hear from them at all.
Scary.
So if you're doing what you're talking about, it's like, you're not only here above the, like most of the marketplace, you're here, you know? And like buyers and sellers, they're going to feel that when they interact with you, you know?
Absolutely. But yeah, you got to just care. Like, you've really got to care, agents, you know, like, it's all good, well and good saying that you care, but do you really care? Do you really care? Like, how much do you care about, you know, your sellers, and how much do you care about how you are perceived in the marketplace? Like, if you're okay with just being mediocre, then just carry on doing what you're doing, but you won't be in real estate for that much longer, because you're going to get run over, because the best agents are just going to keep getting better, and they're just going to swarm up all the business, which is what you already see in a lot of marketplaces. But something that you can also do in this time as well is practice your presentation. Like I keep saying,
in the mirror to your friends.
Absolutely, yeah. Look in the mirror like every day, you know. No, but like doing a bit of role playing, you know, like we do training here every Thursday, and we'd like to do a lot of role playing. But you know, like in your time, like you should pick a couple of agents that you trust, and you should get together and you should practice your listing presentations on each other and pick each other apart, you know, and fire objections at them and see how they handle these things. You know, do a presentation on one of your mates at the pub, you know, do a presentation on your parents at Christmas. You know, like your parents would love to see that, I bet. You know, I used to do them on Gaz and the Rain all the time. I was like, I've got the best listing presentation. I'll make you want to sell this house. Let's go. You know, like, but I was keen as to just show my listing presentation all the time. But that was just me wanting to practice my listing presentation. So, yeah, this is a really good time, and we've done videos on a listing presentation.
Yeah,
we've got like multiple presentation videos. So I'll give them to any agent that wants them. All right, you don't even have to be a part of Freedom Property. You let me know. If you want my listing presentation, give me a call. Even just flick me an Instagram message and I will send you back the video of my listing pres. After that, you're going to want to join us. You don't have to.
Well, I'd say that's probably a good place to end it. I'm sure there's a lot of value in this podcast. So
absolutely,
yeah, if you got some value out of it, share it with another agent.
Let's raise our standards. Let's get it going.
Yeah, we'll definitely see you in the new year. So
awesome.
Thanks for watching.
Out. Thank you.